Tether yourself to the table.
Well, we won't be sleeping tonight, or ever again. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 scariest movie scenes of 2019.
Buddy?
For this list, we're looking at movie moments that freaked us out the most in 2019. These scenes don't necessarily have to be from a horror movie. As long as they received a wide release in 2019, they are eligible. Oh, and since not every character makes it through their scene alive, a spoiler alert is now in effect.
That's not fine. Why is it like that?
Number 10, Victoria meets Pennywise. It, Chapter 2.
Isn't that what your friends call you? Vicky? How did I know that? I guess I must be your friend too.
Considering the first It opened with Georgie's introduction to Pennywise, it arguably would have been more fitting if Chapter 2 would kick things off with this similar scene. Regardless, this stands out as a genuinely creepy moment with exceptional timing, haunting lighting, and suspense throughout. Little Victoria Fuller encounters the dancing clown under some bleachers, and her first instinct is wisely to get out of there.
You're not my friend, you're scary.
The whimpering Pennywise suckers her in, however, by promising to take the birthmark on her face away. As Pennywise pauses during a countdown, we're given a glimmer of hope that Vicky may still have time to escape.
1, 2.
Just as she starts to realize that something's amiss, though, Pennywise breaks out his piercing fangs and drags her into the darkness.
You're supposed to say 3.
Number 9, Chucky vs. Gabe, Child's Play.
Time to open you up. Let's see what we're dealing with.
Considering Gabe was a peeping Tom, among other things, he actually could have been an unsettling antagonist in another horror movie. However, this remake appropriately belongs to Chucky, who Gabe unwisely decides to fix right after smelling his clothes. The repairman's fate is sealed once Chucky rises from the table and demonstrates how baleful things come in small packages. Gabe suddenly finds himself in the middle of an impromptu death trap, holding onto a scorching hot pipe above a table saw. Finally, Gabe is given no choice but to let go as Chucky soullessly watches in amusement. Gabe surrounded himself with technology, which makes it especially ironic that he meets a creatively gruesome end at the hands of a smart doll gone haywire.
Time to open you up. Let's see what we're dealing with.
Number 8, Light Carousel, Annabelle Comes Home. While not the franchise's best offering, Annabelle Comes Home delivered several solid scares, with the highlight being this jump scare of the year set piece. The scene possesses serious poltergeist vibes as something starts tugging on the slumbering Judy's legs. As her blanket begins to elevate, Judy finds the Annabelle doll, along with another uninvited guest. Judy hurls Annabelle into the corner of a room, knocking over her light carousel in the process. Although nightlights are supposed to make us feel comfortable and secure, this one only adds to the dread. The wicked doll's shadow comes to life, growing more menacing with each changing color. Suddenly, sleeping in the dark sounds like a much safer alternative. Number 7, Spahn Ranch, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If you were familiar with the Manson family walking into this Tarantino movie, your spine definitely stiffened when Cliff Booth arrived at Spahn Ranch. Even if you had no idea who Charles Manson was, anyone would be intimidated by the farm's rundown appearance and population of suspicious hippies. While Cliff has proven that he can handle himself, we still fear for him as he enters George Spahn's dilapidated house. Even after George reassures him that all's well, something is clearly off. And Cliff's survival is anything but guaranteed.
I just want to make sure you're okay, and that all these hippies aren't taking advantage of you.
Squeaky?
Yeah.
She loves me.
Although the sequence drips with unnerving tension, it ultimately ends on a hilarious note, as Cliff beats one of the family members to a pulp. Leave it to Quentin Tarantino to make us afraid while also making us laugh.
Ladies?
Number 6, Seeing the Light, The Lighthouse. Watching this psychological horror movie is like falling into a black abyss, and we mean that in the best way possible. Is there a light at the end of the darkness, though? Yes and no. After giving Thomas Wake the axe, Ephraim Winslow, or Thomas Howard, finally makes his way to the top of the lighthouse. What he finds in there remains one of 2019's biggest mysteries. It's possible that Ephraim stumbled upon something otherworldly, but it's just as likely he found an ordinary Fresnel lens. Either way, it's more than Ephraim can handle, sending him tumbling down the spiral staircase. Ephraim winds up on the beach as seagulls peck at what remains of his body, leaving us in the dark.
How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect.
Number 5. How about another joke, Murray? Joker. Few characters chilled us to the core in 2019 like Arthur Fleck. Actor Joaquin Phoenix and director Todd Phillips created a Joker who could eerily exist in our world, practically channeling John Wayne Gacy. When Arthur is invited onto Live with Murray Franklin, the talk show host sees an opportunity to score a few more laughs at his expense. Once Arthur starts telling some of his quote-unquote jokes, however, Murray realizes he's unleashed a deeply unstable mind. Arthur saves his most depraved joke for last, whipping out a gun and getting back at Murray for humiliating him earlier. The building tension, gritty realism, and sense of panic amount to a downright disturbing scene that could only put a smile on Arthur's face.
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Number 4. The Ritual, Midsommar.
Wait, what are we doing now?
By this point in Midsommar, the audience may have felt uneasy, but this scene propelled the film into nightmare territory. As 2 village elders stand atop a cliff during a ritual, we're given a sneaking suspicion of where the scene is going. That still does not prepare us for when the female elder plunges from the cliff and hits the rock below. The male elder's demise is even more horrific, as he survives his fall, forcing the cult to break out a mallet. Director Ari Aster pulls no punches, turning the elder's head into a piñata. Word of advice: when bodies literally start dropping, you should always cut your summer vacation short. Unfortunately, Josh and his friends learned this the hard way. Number 3. Park Da-sung's Ghost, Parasite. Parasite has a pervasive sense of uncertainty that'll leave you on edge throughout. While it doesn't exactly fall under the horror genre, director Bong Joon-ho has described his film as, quote, a ghost story of sorts. The ghost in question once appeared before young Park Da-sung in a doorway leading into a basement. The experience left Da-sung traumatized, but the explanation behind this encounter is creepier than anything supernatural. The ghost is really the former housekeeper's husband, Gun-sai, who's been hiding from loan sharks in the house's secret bunker for years. When Gun-sai emerges again, his presence causes Da-sung to suffer another seizure before all hell breaks loose. To a certain extent, Gun-sai was a ghost, representing how the working class has become invisible to the wealthy. Number 2. The Girl and the Shadow, Us.
There was a girl, and the girl had a shadow.
We all know that Lupita Nyong'o is a phenomenal actress, but she never struck us as somebody who could be legitimately terrifying. That all changed from the second Adelaide's doppelganger Red opened her mouth. As the Wilson family is confronted by their tethered counterparts, Red shares her haunting backstory in the form of a fairy tale. She spent most of her life living in Adelaide's shadow, always getting the short end of the stick. The torment she's endured is emphasized by the agony in her voice. Red sounds like she swallowed a cup full of glass and nails, struggling to get every word she says out.
The shadow hated the girl so much, for so long.
Now she's ready to inflict the same pain upon Adelaide, although Gabe doesn't seem to comprehend this.
You could have my wallet. You could have the car.
Gabe. Jeez, I can only imagine how scary 2020 is going to be based on all the terror we saw in 2019. I'm actually surprised our number 1 pick ended up being legit scary because it could have been kind of lame. So, what movie scene left us most terrified? Let's go through the honorable mentions and then we'll find out.
Non, je peux pas. Je vais revenir, je vais régler ça. T'inquiète pas, je vais revenir. Je vais revenir, t'inquiète pas. Je t'aime, calme-toi.
You have to get them out, Lizzie. Lizzie, you have to stop it. It's inside of you. You have to stop it. Look, it's inside of you. Help me. Help me. Help me, Charlotte. You know what you have to do?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Pale Lady, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This adaptation of Alvin Schwartz's books had no shortage of menacing monsters, but the Pale Lady is destined to become a horror movie icon. If you combine the Blob, Kayako from The Grudge, and the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth, you'd get this boogie woman. No matter where Chuck turns in a red-lit hospital, his worst nightmare is waiting around every corner, advancing closer and closer towards him. What makes the Pale Lady especially petrifying is that she always has a wide smile stretched across her face. When she catches Chuck, it almost looks like she's bringing him in for a loving embrace, when in reality, she's absorbing the teen's body into her own. After watching this scene, you'll be left as white as a ghost. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.